Welcome viewers to the first part of my diorama based on the sequel to Alien, the Aliens film. The diorama is actually based on the final battle between Ripley and the alien queen, Ripley trying to protect Newt and Bishop already being ripped up on the floor. Hope you enjoy the video. Come back to you with snippets later on. Although I could get models for Ripley in the Walker and the Alien Queen, I couldn't get models for Newt or for Bishop, although they're out there. When I was searching, they were all out of stock. So I decided to buy a couple of model kits for characters, as you can see from the Second World War, and you'll see later on for Bishop, a top half of a person for a tank commander. Just reshaped them like with the girls comes with a skirt. I put that aside and put the item together in a sitting position rather than a standing position, although I haven't glued them together yet. Here's are the parts for the Bishop. I've chewed up the ends of Bishop a little bit here. I once it's completely put together you'll see what I mean. Then stuck the heads and the arms on, and it gave me a good starting point to create Bishop. To start with, I covered the Bishop and Newt characters in a grey primer before using enamel paints to paint the colours for their clothing, their hair, hands and face, and in Newt's case also the t-shirt underneath the dungarees, and of course her shoes. Didn't have the exact colours I needed, but I think I got pretty close. Since they were only minor characters in the diorama, gonna barely be seen and just sort of sat in the background, I wasn't overly fussed on getting things exactly right. Bishop's entrails was going to cause me a bit of a dilemma, but in the end I decided to use a little bit of general everyday filler, which I filled his lower cavity with, and then with some cut up pieces of elastic band I poked this in different directions into the filler, and then put a little bit more filler on the outside to hold them in place. This gave the nice shape and the bendiness of the entrails, which I couldn't get from anything else. I painted the elastic bands with white enamel paint. At the end of the day it was the only paint that would actually stick to the elastic bands, so I was lucky there. But then I had a thought, how am I going to create the puddle of goo and mess that came out of Bishop, and I had an idea. I needed to stick it down, so I used some Mod Podge to start with, which is a nice decent sticky glue, but I needed to colour it with some white acrylic paint, because once it dried I didn't need it to disappear. So I got a greaseproof paper and covered the Mod Podge all over the Bishop, and then made a nice big puddle of goo and stuck Bishop on it. The glue would hold Bishop in place, and hopefully it would peel off the greaseproof paper and give me a nice effect for Bishop. As you'll see in a couple of moments, it turned out quite nice. Although the Ripley and the Queen alien models came pre-painted, I wanted to make them a little bit more authentic, so I decided to put a dark dirty wash over them. As you can see, I'm sort of washing the paint on and then immediately wiping it off, which takes most of the surface paint off and just leaves crevices and patches of dirt on it. And although the Queen was black, I did the same with her. Seemed to highlight some areas, although I wasn't completely happy with it by the time it was finished. So I got some black and silver, mixed it together, and then completely covered the alien in this. More of a dry brush than anything else. As you can see, I'm wiping a lot of the paint off in places. And to me it gave a much better effect. That's part one complete, the characters for the diorama. It's the first video for a few months. I haven't been very well the last couple of months, but all's good now. So I'm back into it, and keep an eye out for part 2, which will be the full-blown diorama scene with all 4 characters in and the spaceship area where the battle takes place. I'm looking forward to completing that, but hope to see you then. Thanks very much for watching. Bye bye for now.